Now I will share the screen and I will do the other side of the presentation. So first of all, I'm sharing the screen right here. And secondly, I'm telling you that the first part is dedicated to KCFI and especially paying attention to the AI part. But the second one is more about civil. So criminal and civil are really worlds apart. And what we implemented in criminal, that's what you just saw. In civil litigation, the numbers are different. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So first of all, FreeEed. FreeEed stands for Free Electronic Evidence Discovery. And to me, you will see this slant. I'm a technology geek. So to me, it was very fascinating, the technology that goes into eDiscovery. So I started an open source project after 2 closed projects, and that was the result. But it was the result that ends up in code that you have to download and install. And many people really wanted to run out of the box. And that's what we have done. So first of all, I'm opening an interface that you now get if you ask for a virtual machine right here. Okay, that's a virtual machine running per person. So if you are familiar a little bit with eDiscovery, you know that it is usually concentrated on a website, and that's where you can store your data, right? Now I see there is something in the chat. I'm opening. Okay, that nothing that I have to do right away. Yes. So what you see here is reasonably complete eDiscovery, but what's very important is that it runs on its own separate virtual machine. So whether in the big website where you upload your data, you have that one website, and one of the problems for many other people is that I don't want you to have my data on the website. That is your virtual machine. So in that virtual machine, you have a few options, and that's number one. So that's a big thing that just finished. We developed it, we're now showing it, and we're looking for ideas. You can have your search, eDiscovery search. You can do a star here, and it shows you all of the documents. There are 2,339 documents. And that's an Enron mailbox, one of those standardly used for eDiscovery. So here you can see all of the cases, only one processed by me. And this is where you can do the search. For example, I know it's a daily mailbox, so I can search for Bailey, and I will probably find all of that as related to Bailey because she is a custodian. Now that is the standard eDiscovery, and here you can look for help on how I can do the search. So that tells you about how you can search very specifically. So let's say you want to search in a certain date range. Well, let's try that. That tells me that I can search in the date range, and I'm afraid that maybe it is the wrong date range. So let's try to search. Maybe it was the wrong date, but let's make it bigger. So let's say from maybe 1999 and to 2010, just to see if it works. No. Okay, so maybe the demos don't work. I'll try once more. And if it doesn't work, I will not bother you. But you can search for any word, and that word that you were looking for, it will be highlighted. Well, that is nothing new. People know how to do this. What is interesting and really new is AI Advisor. So I call AI this new thing, I call it the great equalizer, just as people call the lawsuits equalizer, because now the small company can have a voice. It's not easy, but at least it is a chance. So AI advice is the same way. You can include it into your system, and now you're just as powerful as a big, sophisticated technology firm. Well, that is quite sophisticated, but let's say, what is the first name of Bailey? Let's say, I just want to verify that it works. Susan, and that's the documents that support that. But I want to do something more fun. So one question I can ask is, I saw this Periwinkle Foundation. So tell me what it is, what it's doing, if I can ask this question. So it did its research work. It knows who works, where they do. These are the sources for the opinion that it has. And you can keep talking to your documents just as you did with the Casify. But the difference is that civil litigation is very different in numbers. Here we're talking about hundreds of thousands and millions documents, which is not the case in criminal. So it has its own set of challenges which we have resolved. Now, what you see here is a specific report. For example, you know what responsive documents in a lawsuit are. You know, it is related to the claims of the lawsuits and then to the documents themselves. So you need to find, is that document is a kind of let's go and have a cup of coffee, or is it let's collude about something. So if you click here, it will be a report on responsive documents. Right now, it's only a teaser. It tells you that please ask for that, and we will start working on that first. The reason for it is because we have responsive documents, but also privileged documents. We have the smoking gun documents, that's our own term. That means I wish, as the lawyer, I had this document exactly like let's go and collude. Even people don't say it exactly like that. They will say in a different way. So I should be able to ask, is there a collusion evidence? And in fact, if the lawyer will be able to write it down the way he or she wants to see, and will find the closest documents that maybe are not exactly that, but the closest to what it is, plus PII report. That's in the future, and that is more of a technology lab that I'm showing you. So the last thing that I wanted to show you is that technology lab has an inside. That means that I can open it to the inside of that. I think I have a link for that prepared. There you are. And using a password, that's the password, I can show you the operating interface. So what I showed you before was the lawyer interface, because it doesn't have complicated parts related to data. There is a way to create new case, but there's no way to add data. Adding data, that's coming from here. So that is the familiar FreeEed interface, at least familiar to me, where you can say that's where you formulate new projects, set up all the options. Let's say, give it the mailbox that you want to process here, then set up all the parameters, for example, when you process, and that's already technical for the operator, how much do you want to process at a time? How do you want to separate the metadata? Only the technical operator will care about that. Do you want OCR? And finally, in AI Advisor, we put all those experimental AI features. So here too, I, as an explorer, can ask my AI questions, even though they're easier in the browser. And here is where I run the index. That's inside because that index may take a very long time. I think we found a good way to speed it up, but still, that is the internal situation that you can fix for your lawyer and verify why it didn't work if it didn't. And that's here where we also advertise the upcoming features, for example, civil. If you're doing civil, it could be that you want responsive, privileged, or smoking gun. You can ask for that. Again, if you ask for that, what comes up is that that's under development. Cast your ballot. Tell us what is the first thing you would like to see. But it is already a working product, ready for you to request and play with this virtual machine. All right, that is what I wanted to say. Let me go to chat. I see the notes, and I will stop sharing, and I'm also ready for questions.
Hi, Mark, it's Rami. So Caseify to me comes across as a SaaS application, right? Whereas this one's on-prem.
Yes, that's definitely true. The reason I package it into a virtual machine is because there is quite a lot to set up, even though it is an open source project, but all the services and the AI, all of that is pretty hard to set up. That's why I bring it to you as a virtual machine, but it is ready for a deployment anywhere locally.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. It's a wonderful idea. My follow-up question on that is, I noticed when you're on the VM for all the processing tools, there's a connection. You can use, I guess, processing power from AWS or other cloud computing platforms. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. So I'll go back and share the screen again. So first of all, your question is, you are on that VM. And being on that VM, you have a complete virtual machine. For example, if you need more data, you can open a browser here and download, using the browser, download any data, it will go to your virtual machine. Or if your favorite tool is FTP or secure FTP, you can get the data into this virtual machine. Is that your question?
Sorry, just taking myself off mute.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the first part of my question. So, um, I'm thinking of a situation like, let's say I have, I don't know, close to 50,000 documents,
Mhm.
and my local machine doesn't have that computing power to process all these things, all these different types of documents, and to run OCR. It would take some time. Could I use, um, could I could I host this on, say, some sort of server platform, say a stronger server that could be on-prem, or say like in a cloud environment like AWS or Azure?
You definitely can. Let me show first of all what you already have now with the cloud. So that's the cloud. I'm showing you my account there. And I'm showing the EC2. That's where it is hosted right now. And these are the virtual machines that people asked for. So let us say it's not big enough, not powerful enough. What you do is then you stop this machine. After you stop it, you can resize it. That's all very easy, and I can give it as much hard drive as you need and as much processing power as you need. That is answer number one. I'm working on a parallel processing so that all processing doesn't take hours or days, but it takes no more than an hour for 1 terabyte. That's my goal, 1 terabyte an hour using cluster. That's not ready, but it's the prototype, and the prototype showed that it's working. Is that your question?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, that would be an additional engine that I call Piranha, but it's there. And of course, you can deploy that locally. It's just that it's much easier for me to maintain it if it is on a virtual machine.
Hey, Mark, can I show the group another example of Caseify AI that's which is a very simple way to use AI?
Please do.
So can everyone see the screen now that says Galindo and Banks? You see that screen up? So, we asked a question earlier, what was the mental health diagnosis? Well, you can ask Caseify AI anything. Now, obviously, I'm a criminal defense attorney, so my complete focus of my practice is criminal defense work. But in this particular case, I asked, what was the basis for the car stop? And it tells me the basis for the car stop was the silver Toyota Camry was there driving southbound on D Street with its headlights off, which is a violation of the vehicle code in California, and the officer made the stop. I know that there was a gun discovered in this case, and I put where was the gun found, and it gives me that answer. And then my client was Martine Galindo, and I asked Martine, what was Martine Galindo's role in this particular case? And Caseify AI gives me that answer. With this caveat, it's not necessarily giving me the truth. It's giving me what's contained in the police reports. So, for instance, driving without the headlights off. The first thing I did is I watched the car camera video, and sure enough, the officer's behind the car. It's dark, and you can tell the lights are not on. It's obvious. So, although that was the truth, that was the answer contained in the police report. As I tell defense attorneys that use Caseify, you still have to watch your audio, or still have to listen to your audio and watch your body camera and car cam videos, because we've had a case recently where the officer was pulling over drivers suspected of DUI, and every one of his reports said the same thing: failed to put the blinker on before he made the left turn. Well, the blinkers were on two of the cases during the left turn. So you still have to watch the audio or listen to the audio and watch the video, but Caseify AI will answer whatever question you have about the case. So that's what I just wanted to show you on an example of a very rudimentary, happens every day car stop in California.
Thank you, Ron. And thank you, everybody, for the participations, for the questions. The show is recorded, so you will get, if you registered for the webinar, you will get a recording, and you don't have to do anything about that because you registered with an email. And basically, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That was a great presentation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And if anybody wants a demo or has any more questions about the Caseify component of all this, my name and contact information is in the chat.
Thank you. Goodbye.